Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. A few months ago I put out a video on why I chose an Eddyline kayak. Well, it's been just over a year since I bought the kayak and I've had a chance to use it quite a bit. So in this video I'm going to go over what I like about it, what I don't like about it. So stick around. Okay folks, if this is your first time watching, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Continue to follow the Adirondack adventure. Well, there's my Eddyline. And if you remember in that video, why I chose Eddyline kayak was I was looking for a kayak that was big enough, had a big enough cockpit for a big enough guy to fit into. I'm 250, and I also wanted bulkheads in the front and rear for my camping gear. This kayak fit all those needs. It also stayed within the 12 feet max length I could have, that I could put it in my camper. That's where I usually travel. I stick it right inside the camper. So let's go over first what I don't like about the kayak. Number one thing I don't like about the kayak, this is the cockpit right here. It's a big enough cockpit for me to get into, but I wish it had a cup holder somewhere in here. That is a huge drawback for me. You know, I've got to put my bottle of water on the side, and I have my bug spray on the other side. But one of the things that is neat to do is in the morning make a big cup of coffee, head out onto the flat water and listen to the loons, but you just can't do it in here. There's nowhere to put the coffee pot, or not coffee pot, but my coffee cup. Okay. So the second thing I don't like is there's all this space right here. I wish there was something that you could put in here where you could put your bug spray, your sunblock, something in here. But other than that, those are the two big drawbacks. There's no area to put stuff. You know, your bug spray is rolling around the bottom of your kayak down here. You know, stuff goes forward, and it's just a pain in the ass to get to. I've looked at trying to figure out something maybe I could put behind the seat here myself, design it myself, put it in. But those are the two only complaints I have about this kayak. So one of the concerns I had was with the bulkheads, the covers. If you remember in that video, I was worried that because I get into my covers so often, that these were going to start ripping. Well, I do get into my covers quite a bit. Every trip I'm loading up the kayak, and so far the covers have held up quite well. I'm still worried that eventually that this is going to rip, but so far in 1 year in, and almost every trip I'm getting into these covers, so far they're holding up. The rear cover, same way. I open it up. Oh, there's my carry in, carry out from my earlier trip. The same thing with the rear cover. I worry that it's going to, you know, tear here, but the covers have been so far pretty good. They have not let any water in. The bulkheads have remained pretty well sealed. As you can see, I don't know if that, yeah, there's enough light there. The bulkheads have sealed up pretty good. I haven't got any water at all in any one of my bulkheads. And so one thing I do have, you can see I have a deck bag on here, and the cockpit actually goes underneath the deck bag a little bit. I had to move it forward because it was quite the reach for me to get forward and to reach into this deck bag. You know, if I had to reach in to grab something, I'm almost reaching all the way up to the front here with the deck bag. So I ended up mounting it further back. This is something that, another idea for Eddyline, if you could develop something, engineer something that will flip up, so when you get in, you can flip the tray back down and you have like a zipper bag that you can put stuff into, that would work really well. if you could find something that would fit right here, you know, maybe something that can flip up, and then you get into your kayak and you can flip it back down. You know, I think that would be something interesting for Eddyline. Now for the particulars. I have put a lot into this kayak. The max weight, it says on this kayak, is 350 pounds. I put my gear in here where I've had this full of my gear. Food, sleeping bag, hammock, tent, all sorts of good items in here. My little stove. And in the front, a lot of times, is where I put my water. I actually have a little cooler that fits right into the rear of the kayak, can fit right in behind my seat if need be, and that's actually hanging up right now on my awning because it went overboard today, got a little wet. So anyways, the cooler fits right in behind the seat quite well, and that was something I just found when I was shopping one day. That it was on clearance, and they had the frozen, the ice pack that goes in the middle of it that's shaped like bottles. You can put your cans and bottles of water into it. But I've had this on some rough water. I've been caught twice in thunderstorms, and the stability is amazing. The only time I've gotten swamped was, and I didn't get flip over, was I had a boat just a couple of weeks ago, high speed, go by me and then cut their engine when they got about 30 feet from me, and their wave raised me up, and when it turned me sideways, the next wave came into my cockpit. I didn't roll the kayak, I stayed upright, but it was an inexperienced boat operator. They were actually, I was in the shallow part of the channel and they were on the wrong side of the buoys and didn't know it. So the stability is amazing in this kayak. It cuts through the water pretty well. Wind, if you're in high wind, the wind will affect it. If you're trying to paddle against the wind, it will blow you from side to side a little bit. But other than that, it's been great. The seat is comfortable. It's adjustable. The back support is adjustable. The foot pegs have held up quite well. I actually pushed myself out of the kayak with these foot pegs, and you know, I'm 250 pounds, so they held in place. They didn't break or anything. That's one thing I worry about them, is breaking. But what I truly like, I like how these can be adjusted by sitting right in the kayak. You just flip this up, and you can adjust it with your foot back and forth, clamp it back down. Other than that, it has been a very good kayak. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I don't like about it. I kind of wish there was a little bit more bungee on it. Carrying a spare paddle, you know, you don't have a lot of space here to carry a spare paddle. So I don't carry one right now, but it crosses my head every now and then that I should have one. But I have looked online. The new Sandpiper is a 13 foot, and they have the chair now is what they call the lawn chair. It snaps into place in here, and then you can take it out and use it at a campsite. That's a pretty neat idea. But anyways, other than the two drawbacks of not having a cup holder and not having anything inside the cockpit at all to hold stuff, I think those are two huge negatives. They're negatives in my book because this is a $1,400 kayak, and I think it should have something in there to hold some items. But other than that, it has held up quite well. It's been banged around. There's marks on it. If we look at the bottom, it's got some scrapes on it. I actually went onto a sandbar today with it. So 1 year in, and it's still going. It's got a lot of miles on it. It's been a good kayak, and I think I'm going to have this one for years to come yet, because I'm pretty satisfied with it, other than those two bad drawbacks of not having a cup holder. I think Eddyline should pair up with Yeti. Put a Yeti cup in every kayak you sell. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel to follow the adventure. Thanks for joining me.